Longevity and metabolic health, I would say, are synonymous.
We're going to be talking about longevity supplement that is very popular across the world.
Sleep deprivation can lead to disproportionate glucose levels. Chronic stress also elevate cortisol.
Is often referred to as nature's metformin. Even I found it very hard to believe at first. From a dosage of 1500 milligrams per day, Dr. Arun figured out through biosolve technology to make it effective at 200 milligrams per day.
Sure.
We're here with something very exciting today. This is our second podcast. I'm Aditya. I'm the founder at Gattaca Labs. We're going to be talking about longevity and specifically a longevity supplement that is very, very popular across the world. And dwell a little bit into metabolic health. And to help us get through this, we have Dr. Arun from Zeus Hygieia, which is making quite the waves in when it comes to this particular supplement that we're going to be talking about. Dr. Arun, could you introduce yourself and also talk a little bit about the company?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you for having me here. Myself, Dr. Arun, and I'm the co-founder of Zeus Hygieia Life Sciences, wherein we are into nutraceutical ingredients. We offer enriched nutraceutical ingredients. I'm basically working on the problems associated with herbal extracts and coming with solutions to address those limitations and challenges. And as you rightly said, MetaBerine, our branded berberine, is making waves in the nutraceutical industry, especially with respect to metabolic health and as well as GLP-1 segments. Yeah. So looking forward to have our conversation going forward, especially revolving around berberine and metabolic health. Thank you.
So I've been researching supplements in the longevity space and the overall longevity industry for quite a while now. Right, hence the whole company longevity performance that we do with Gattaca. And this name kept coming up. We haven't really released a product, right? Because we were looking for the right fit. Right. So what is it about berberine that it makes it so good for longevity, for pretty much a lot of other metabolic health related issues?
True. So, that's the right question and that's a great question, Aditya. When it comes to longevity and metabolic health, I would say, are synonymous. So, metabolic health as such, it's an umbrella terminology. Metabolic health, the key markers around metabolic health is like blood sugar, HDL levels, then triglyceride levels, blood pressure, and of course, weight management or waist circumference. These are the 5 markers defining the metabolic health. So, longevity, metabolic health, as I mentioned, both are synonymous. And when it comes to this longevity and metabolic health, berberine or MetaBerine, the bioavailable berberine, also comes into picture. So because berberine as such has been traditionally studied and is being proven for its benefits in the metabolic wellness space, especially MetaBerine, this bioavailable berberine, when it comes to its, clinical data and other scientific validations, clearly evaluates its benefits in the sugar management and other related metabolic space. So, of course, longevity, metabolic health, and berberine goes in, tandem. So, when you speak about longevity, you cannot keep aside berberine assets, and being a natural supplement, Gattaca being into the longevity space, of course, you need to look into berberine in a much broader perspective.
And that's what I think once we discovered your product, that is what really kicked off the interest into making sure that we launch the right kind of berberine there.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about berberine first and then we'll get into the MetaBerine space, right? Because I think everybody recognizes berberine.
True.
Right, and we'll soon get them to recognize MetaBerine.
Absolutely.
Right. So berberine is often referred to as nature's metformin, right?
Yeah.
So metformin has a lot of great potential. I mean, it has been the drug of choice to help diabetics for donkey's years, right? Yeah. There's actually a small study also that shows that David Sinclair talks a lot about is people who take metformin tend to live a little longer, right? So because it helps them on the longevity side of things, and he highly recommends that people take it for longevity. We are not, he does, right? So when you refer to berberine as nature's metformin, could you tell us how, is it a stretch to compare them, or are they comparable?
Yeah, I would say, I would agree. At the same time, I would disagree with you with this terminology. Berberine is often called as nature's metformin. Sometimes it's called as nature's Ozempic as well.
Correct,
you might be knowing it. In a way, if you see the mechanistic pathways of berberine, it's sometimes partially overlapping with metformin. Metformin is, of course, the drug of choice for sugar management and other metabolic wellness. So when I speak about the mechanistic pathway, both berberine as well as metformin works through similar or closely similar pathways like AMPK pathways or glucose management or like gut microbiota balance and other stuff. But where I disagree with you is like metformin is a well-established, well-characterized
I'm not saying it, right? It's generally considered, right?
Yeah. So it's a well-established, well-characterized pharmaceutical active drug with ample studies done on its long-term clinical benefits, safety part, and of course, millions of subjects have been evaluated for its, scientific benefits and adverse effects. So when it comes to this traditional herbal extracts, there is a limitation of like traditional Ayurveda medicines have got short-term studies, limitation of scientific validation and other stuff. Or else, I would say, I will not say it's, wrong in saying nature's metformin, but there are still points wherein we can, disagree on that point as well.
So it is sort of nature's metformin, it is sort of not. Right? So it would be a little bit of a stretch to make that comparison.
Absolutely.
So coming back to berberine specifically, so how does it work at a cellular level, right? And can you walk us through if there is an established timeline, like how does it help on day 1 to day 15 to day 30 at a biological, at a holistic level and also at a cellular level?
Yeah, that's a very, interesting question. In fact, berberine, the very exciting point here is like berberine is working at the cellular level through multiple pathways, multiple channels. So most important or, the fundamental mechanism of berberine is mainly through the AMPK pathway. So AMPK is called metabolic master switch. When berberine is being administered or has been supplemented, it can reach the cellular levels and it works on, inhibiting the mitochondrial electron transport and then, it is connecting with the ATP drop. ATP drop or energy drops, switches the AMPK. So AMPK is as I mentioned, it's a metabolic master switch, which further triggers fat metabolism. Stored fats can get metabolized. It can, increase the glucose uptake from the blood to the cellular levels. That's the main mechanism. AMPK is the first mechanism. The other mechanisms involves like gut microbiota balancing. So wherein, berberine can reach the gut region and, increase the, good bacteria in the gut, which can generate more short chain fatty acids. And eventually it can go into a GLP-1 kind of stimulation, enzyme stimulation. There's another mechanism involved. Then the other pathway is like, berberine has been studied and proven for its, role in managing the hepatic glucose, uptake. That's one way. Then it works on the cellular insulin uptake as well. So multiple pathways for berberine, and in cellular level, it really works in, overall giving you certain metabolic benefits.
Got it. Understood. So I'd like to spend a little bit more time on the AMPK part. I think that's a quite interesting thing. So berberine turns on the switch or turns off the AMPK switch?
So turn on.
turns on,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
so that means the body then moves into a place where it burns more fat.
Absolutely.
Right. So berberine is directly implicated in weight management,
True,
right?
true,
so helping people lose weight.
Yeah.
Right. How when it comes to the GLP aspect of it, right? So it is activating the GLP-1, which helps with the overall absorption part of it, if I'm not wrong, right? So you absorb a little bit less of the nutrients that you're taking in, hence the weight loss also comes in, right? If I'm correct, so please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So when it comes to synthetic GLP-1 drugs like semaglutide or liraglutide and all, they directly act on the GLP-1 receptors. So these synthetic drugs have a direct mechanism which regulates the GLP-1 pathway, whereas a natural plant extract like berberine, it works on inducing the body to generate more GLP-1 enzymes. So if you look at our data also, as I mentioned, we have done a clinical study on MetaBerine, wherein the GLP-1 enzyme levels have been spiked by around 23%. So, but it's not a direct mechanism or binding it to the GLP-1 receptors or like that. It works through the gut pathway, wherein gut microbiome levels, increase in gut microbiome levels and good bacterial levels indirectly spikes the GLP-1 enzymes, and it can work on the signaling, satiety signaling, like more insulin response, and overall help you in the weight management. Yeah. So one is a direct pathway, second one is an indirect pathway.
Yeah. Metabolic health has become a big concern, especially even among people who are much younger. Can you take us to why this is happening?
Well, Aditya, that's a very interesting question, because when it comes to metabolic health, it's a broader terminology. Metabolic health means how your body is producing energy, how the energy is being utilized, or how the body is regulating the energy overall. So energy production, utilization, and management. That's all about metabolic health. And as I initially told you, metabolic health not just about your metabolic overall wellness, which is around that 5 markers like blood sugar or HDL levels, then triglyceride levels, blood pressure, and weight. But overall metabolic health means it is again related to the longevity. Today, very recently, American Metabolic Association has done a study. Interestingly, they found that only 7% of the subjects are falling into the metabolic healthy category.
7%.
Only 7%, and surprisingly, 93% of the population are falling into metabolically unhealthy. That's really alarming.
Absolutely.
Now, though we are feeling that we are really healthy, but we don't know whether you are metabolically healthy or not. So going back to our initial discussion of longevity and how metabolic health is related. So these are all tightly linked parameters.
Right. Yeah.
Now longevity, aging, metabolic health, all are relatively highly connected parameters. And any of these parameters, your sugar levels can be at the borderline. Your cholesterol levels could be on the borderline. Even if you are doing daily exercise, workout, or eating healthy, sometimes sleep deprivation can also, disproportionate, can lead to disproportionate glucose levels. Sometimes even if your stress levels, chronic stress also elevate cortisol. Higher cortisol can lead to, glucose related issues, insulin resistance and all. So everything is linked. So overall, I would say that metabolic health in your day-to-day life is really important, and how these natural supplements can play a significant role in managing it, rather than going into that medical, phenomena. That's what companies like Gattaca can play a huge role here.
Yeah. And I think that's what we strongly believe, Doc. I think at least when we look at the pillars and we prioritize what is most important for an individual's health, this sleep for us is pillar number 1 in terms of priority. Sleep. Then you have your nutrition and exercise, and then it comes to supplementation.
Correct.
But then supplementation is a pillar.
Absolutely.
Right. It definitely helps you with a lot of aspects that you're looking for in terms of performance, longevity, health, etc. Right. There's a lot of reasons for that,
I
and
agree.
we'll get into that.
Correct.
And coming back to berberine specifically, right? So I'm not sure if it's been marketed incorrectly or if it is perceived incorrectly, but it feels like a lot of people think that it is for diabetics primarily, right? Which I don't think it is. And can you take us through why it is not for non-diabetic people also?
Yeah, absolutely. Like this metabolic health and those terminology has got so much of global attention in the recent time frame. We need to thank GLP-1, like Ozempic kind of products, particularly for this buzz around metabolic health. So when it comes to metabolic health, if you are looking for anything in the natural space, I would say berberine is the only one, or berberine is the primarily focused, ingredient, offering that wellness space. So, like berberine as such, as I mentioned, works through different pathways, multiple mechanistic pathways, which, further underlines its benefits on the metabolic health. Like apart from only sugar management or glucose regulation is one of the pathways which helps in falling into this metabolic category. But overall, as I mentioned, there are 5 markers related to metabolic health, not just glucose management. So all these 5 markers, if you see, berberine is the only one. I would say it's a magic herb, which can play a key role in helping you maintain or fall into that metabolic wellness category. So I'm sure maybe you and me are into that 93% bracket, wherein metabolic unhealthy population, which is quite often being ignored actually. I would say that this kind of supplements can, help you, taking back to that healthy metabolic bracket. And of course, berberine is the ideal one in that space.
Magic herb, you referred to it as, right? But standard berberine has been around for decades. Right? It's been around for a while. And I've also come across research that it's been used in Ayurveda, in Chinese medicine for quite a lot. But I keep coming up with these limitations to berberine. Right. And obviously you made it better because you know it, right? What are some of these limitations that you look at the existing berberine that is there in the market, right? Whether it's the standard one, the liposomal one, what are those limitations that you see?
Yeah, in fact, these kind of questions are what, keeps us interesting and keeps our research going ahead, we as a company is focused completely on addressing the challenges or limitations of herbal extracts. So berberine, though, as you rightly pointed out, it's there in the market since centuries. It's a traditional Ayurveda medicine. But, if you look at the problems or limitations of berberine, though it is not very limited, companies have addressed this. The biggest challenge, the fundamental problem with berberine is bioavailability issues, challenges with the bioavailability. So there are literatures, there are studies revealing that berberine, when you consume as a supplement, has got a limited absorption viability ranging from only 2 to 3%.
Oh wow! That's
So if you're taking 100 milligram of berberine, maybe only 3 milligram goes into your bloodstream or plasma concentration. So that's very poor, absorption. And then comes to the other limitation. Of course, it is again connected. The bioavailability is very limited. Then the dose is also very high. So normally dose goes up to 1,500 milligram a day. This is really high dosing. That's also a challenge with the berberine. Then again comes to some of the side effects or adverse related to the high dose and bioavailability. Since you are dumping too much of berberine inside your body, it can lead to certain gastric irritations also. So these are the 3 main core challenges, I would say, with berberine. And these are the 3 core challenges which we have addressed also. So that's always, as I mentioned, interesting question, and there is an answer for that also.
So I'd like to stay with berberine a little bit longer. You said it has very poor absorption, right? So I remember taking berberine when it maybe about 6-7 months ago when I first wanted to start testing out whether we want to launch this. And I felt a lot of gastric discomfort. It's something that I discontinued and I did not even look at berberine again until I met you, right? So it has poor absorption, right? And gastric discomfort. But why is it that it has that kind of a mechanism?
Yeah, so again, not just berberine, many herbal extracts, as I mentioned, has got these limitations. So one of the biggest challenge with berberine as such, leading to this poor bioavailability absorption is its solubility. It's poorly soluble in the gastric fluids or the aqueous conditions. So one of the big challenges is solubility. Second, its character, chemical nature itself. Berberine as such, if you see the structure of berberine, it is a quaternary ammonium compound, which has got a positive nitrogen in that. And so if the product or an ingredient has to be absorbed into the intestinal region, where the maximum absorption happens, we would call it as an absorption window. It has to get certain lipid permeability. It should pass through that lipid barrier. So, berberine has certain limitations in that case also. And then metabolism, it undergoes hepatic metabolism. There are 2 or 3 factors which majorly contributes to the limited absorption, limited bioavailability of berberine.
So, because we're taking it at such a high dose, I mean, the way I'm understanding it, maybe I'm oversimplifying it to myself, is we're taking a really high dose of 1500 milligrams, right? And that kind of high dose causes gastric irritation, and you're taking it to be absorbable, right? You're throwing high dose at it to absorb more, but then it also ends up causing you a gastric irritation, right? And I think that's where what happens when you take it at such low absorption also is bioavailability is something that you cover, right? So if very small percentage of it is being absorbed, then the effectiveness of berberine is significantly lower than what some of the claims are out there. Now, if you come up with a product such as yourself, right, where we are now going to talk a little bit more about MetaBerine and about your technology, which is BioSolve technology, right? And this is for, even I found it very hard to believe at first, is from a dosage of 1500 milligrams per day. Dr. Arun figured out through BioSolve technology to make it effective at 200 milligrams per day. Right? That's 1/7 the overall dosage. So could you talk about what BioSolve technology is and what it is that is special about it that makes such a low dosage possible?
Yeah. So before talking about the technology, what problem it is solving, that's more important here. As we discussed earlier, the biggest challenge with regular herbal extracts, including berberine, is like bioavailability, clinical effectiveness at a minimal dose. So we wanted to address these challenges prospectively from the consumer pain point. If a product is effective at a minimal dose, why do you need to dump higher doses, which eventually results in certain side effects and adverse effects? So from this thought process, we have developed a platform technology which is presently patent granted in India and is patent pending in the US. This basic platform technology, processing technology, is to address the limitations of these bioavailability related challenges. So when it comes to bioavailability, as we initially spoke about, bioavailability is starting from the solubility part. So when you are consuming an active drug or a herbal, ingredient as a supplement, it has to get dissolved into the, aqueous media, into the gut, enzymes. So once it is dissolved, it has to be into the fine solution. Then it reaches the intestinal window where the permeability or absorption happens. So first part of any, pharmacokinetic absorption mechanism is like solubility. So first thing is like get it solubilized. Then once it is solubilized, it reaches to the intestinal region or window where it gets permeable into the intestinal and enters into the bloodstream. So this BioSolve technology basically addresses this fundamental issue. This technology is about all about improving the solubility, improving the bioavailability, and eventually offering clinical efficacy at very minimal daily doses. So the most important part here is like we don't use any harmful surfactants or chemical additives in this process.
Okay.
We don't we try to avoid organic solvents. This is all completely aqueous-based processing technology.
Interesting.
So we ensure that this is all clean, green, food-grade based processing technology, addressing the core fundamental problems of herbal extracts, and eventually the consumer is benefited with a minimal dose, maximum effective product.
Oh, great. Your data shows that you have 37x Cmax compared to regular berberine.
Correct.
Right? For people who are watching and who don't understand what exactly Cmax is, can you help them understand what Cmax is and what 37x means in this particular case?
When it comes to a pharmacokinetic or a bioavailability study, we always try to do a comparison. So here the comparator is regular berberine extract versus our branded bioavailable MetaBerine, which is a bioavailable berberine. So MetaBerine has shown when we do this, at the same dose, for example, if you are administering 200 milligram MetaBerine versus 200 milligram of regular extract, MetaBerine has shown almost 37-fold higher blood concentration.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. At a particular time point, we call it as Tmax. And the Tmax, the Cmax is the maximum concentration, blood concentration or plasma concentration at that particular time point, compared to a regular extract comparator. So that shows, how rapidly, Tmax shows how rapidly it reaches the peak concentration. And what is the peak concentration? Cmax stands for the peak concentration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So that means from what you stated earlier, right? So it is absorbed much better. And therefore it is able to reach the peak concentration.
True.
Right? In this case, the data shows that it's able to reach that in 30 minutes versus peak concentration for 8 hours for regular.
Normally for regular extract, it's 8 hours.
Okay.
And in case of MetaBerine, it is quite rapid. In 30 minutes, we could see that concentration reaching. So if you're saying that the product has to be effective, it has to be rapidly effective, rapidly absorbed, and it has to stay in the blood also. So bioavailability is a measurement of complete AUC, area under the curve, which we call it as AUC. And all these parameters, kinetic parameters like AUC, Cmax, Tmax, elimination, all these are being measured and all these are being compared. So in all these parameters, MetaBerine stands ahead of a comparator like a regular berberine extract.
Understood. So I understand that's the science part of it, right? But that's great, right? So it shows there's a lot of evidence that solubility, absorption is much more. How does that translate into outcomes for the individuals who are taking it, right? Compared to regular berberine?
Yeah. So that's very interesting actually. Going back to our initial discussion, like how berberine is effective in metabolic health. So one of the key mechanisms, the fundamental mechanism of berberine or MetaBerine is it works through AMPK, metabolic switch, metabolic master switch pathway. So AMPK pathway is a cellular level mechanism. So some products works on the cellular level, some on the local mechanism. So this is a systemic pathway. It has to enter into the plasma, reaches to the cell or muscles, and then it works on this AMPK pathway. So if it has to reach the cellular level mechanism or the target site of action, it has to enter into the bloodstream, reach the plasma, right? So if you have to, it is all defined by the bioavailability.
Absolutely.
So if you're taking a drug or any herbal active, if it is not reaching the plasma concentration, then of course it's not going to give you that therapeutic benefit.
Okay.
So that's how this MetaBerine has got 7x lesser dose than a regular extract. That's how it has proven that the product is effective at a very minimal daily dose. All these are tightly connected, tightly linked. Your bioavailability, clinical efficacy, and the dose. So we are proving, step by step. You have a technology to improve it. You have technology improve the solubility. You are then validating it with the bioavailability data. Then you are validating it with the clinical efficacy. So everything is tightly linked, and it is connected with the mechanism of action as well. Right.
That's good to hear. So I mean, that also leads me to the logical thought that when you have lesser of something, the side effects of that individual extract in this case are also going to be significantly lesser, right? So when we're reducing 1500 milligrams to 200 milligrams, and do you see like from the people who are taking it that there is no gastric irritation? Right, that goes away, and any sort of discomfort also goes away.
I would say that rather than the terminology lesser, I would say that it's an optimal dose. Okay, so we call MetaBerine as a bio-optimized berberine. So bio-optimal means this has got an optimal, daily dose. It has got an optimal bioavailability, which has giving you the therapeutic results, wellness benefits. So the question is like, how do you ensure that such a low dose gives you the therapeutic benefits? We have proven with that bioavailability data wherein which is completely underlining that this product has got multifold improved bioavailability than a regular extract. That is one point. Second, we have done a clinical study data wherein the product at a dose of 200 milligram daily gives you that, better results than 1500 milligram regular extracts. That's the second point. And when it comes to safety parameters, so if efficacy is proven, safety parameters, we have done a couple of study validations wherein none of the subjects have shown or resulted in any gastric irritation. So berberine, one of the disadvantages from the market data is like almost around 20 to 30% of subjects sometimes report to have gastric related issues.
I was one of them.
So interestingly, and we have proven that MetaBerine doesn't have any gastric related issues, and even you are also one of the sitting example here in front of me. We have not seen any gastric related issues, and we have a second study in large number of subjects coming up. In around 100 subjects we have a human study. Right now it has just begun, and that is also further going to validate that the product is effective, and it has if any safety related issues or not, we are going to prove that.
Understand. And when is this study expected to come?
So we are immediately going to start in a month or so.
So the dosage is very low. It's only 200 milligrams. And I keep repeating this because I want people to realize that this is a very low dose and a very effective at that low dose. So does this mean that people can use this for a longer while and therefore have better outcomes?
In fact, as we mentioned earlier, berberine is a proven herbal active with centuries old traditional Ayurveda wisdom involved here. So as such, we don't see any challenges in using it for a longer period of time. The current data, what we have done is 14-day study, and the upcoming clinical study, we are focusing on 60 days. So on a long run, we don't see any challenges because the dose is less. There was no safety related issues with respect to this particular ingredient. So we do not see any challenges using it on a longer run, especially MetaBerine being such a low dose effective ingredient.
That's right. So compared to regular berberine, I'm assuming and you'll have to help us understand this also, is that the benefits of MetaBerine or berberine through MetaBerine are significantly faster than with regular berberine because of the bioavailability aspect.
True. We had a head-to-head comparison, in fact, done by a Korean premium institute, Korean university, where they have compared MetaBerine versus a liposomal berberine versus a regular extract. The study was done on, like zebrafish model.
Okay.
So zebrafish, why zebrafish is like it has got the metabolic mechanisms more or less closer to the human body. So the study has, very interestingly, the study results were such that MetaBerine always has stood up with respect to liposomal berberine and regular berberine extract with respect to the effectiveness as well as the safety parameters. So safety, they have done, hepatic toxicity, then kidney-related toxicity, then intestinal toxicity, and multiple parameters have been evaluated. Apart from the, glucose metabolism factors, then lipid lowering factors, then, overall, metabolic wellness. So in every aspect too, in the every study parameters, MetaBerine was always on top compared to a regular berberine extract or a liposomal extract. So the study was conducted not by us actually, it was done by a third party, in a third party lab actually, in a Korean Premium Institute. So this study, which is going to be published sooner, is going to clear, evidently answer the question which you have asked me. Compared to regular berberine extract, how MetaBerine stands unique. As well as I would have to add one more point, not just regular extract, even against liposomal berberine also. MetaBerine is going to stand unique and ahead.
That's actually fascinating, and it's very, very good to hear. Right, the comparison has been done not just with berberine but also with liposomal format of it, right? Which generally liposomal is the availability is higher, and MetaBerine beat the availability, bioavailability when compared to liposomal. So now I'll get into the next series of things, which I'm sure like a bunch of people who are watching are excited about, which we briefly covered earlier, is Ozempic. Right. I would like to first ask you, why is Ozempic so popular?
See, Ozempic, because, people don't want to put a lot of efforts to, to go for this weight management exercise and other stuff. Ozempic being, direct working on this GLP-1 receptors, it, quickly provides you, supports in the weight management and related segments. So that's probably one of the reasons like semaglutide and Ozempic becomes so popular and, added with the celebrity endorsements, I would say. And the social media, there was a huge buzz about Ozempic, GLP-1. I would say that that's how even berberine has become popular as a natural Ozempic. So Ozempic, as such, being a synthetic drug, it directly works on the GLP-1 receptors and helps in the weight management mechanisms. Whereas natural Ozempic, as we initially told, it has got an indirect mechanisms.
Ozempic is pretty expensive to take, right? For most people who are suffering.
It's quite expensive, and there are a lot of reported, side effects as well.
Yes.
But we don't want to comment on that side.
Yes. We'll stay away from that side a little bit. Right. But now, I think with berberine, right? So the argument is that for people who cannot afford like Ozempic, right, but are suffering or struggling with weight or any of the issues that Ozempic solves, berberine is often recommended to alleviate some of those issues, right? And what is your opinion on that?
See, MetaBerine, this bioavailable berberine, can be supplemented even for non-diabetic group of people. Like for the healthy subjects as well. The study what we conducted is on healthy subjects. Okay. And when it comes to healthy subjects, energy balance is more important. So metabolic wellness is all about how do the body produce your energy, how it is being consumed and how it is being managed. So in a day-to-day life, energy balancing is very important.
Absolutely. Can't agree more.
And fatigueness. It could be physical fatigueness or brain fatigueness. Is always a challenge in your day-to-day life. So MetaBerine, being such a proven ingredient, can help you for the energy balancing through various pathways. AMPK pathway itself is energy related, ATP related pathway.
Correct. Yeah.
So berberine, metaberine could be a really interesting ingredient or a natural supplement, can position for energy balancing. And in a day-to-day life, energy balancing is very important.
That's true.
That is one way for such an younger, day-to-day for an younger subjects. That's one way it can support. Apart from that, in healthy aging as well as longevity, metabolic wellness
Absolutely.
and MetaBerine can play
And
a
that's
huge
what
role.
we say on the longevity side, right? Especially with our product NMN, it's like it increases energy levels. And the common misconception is that people age and they lose energy, right?
True.
But we always like to tell our customers, like, people lose energy and hence they age.
True.
Right. So because all your cellular machinery is not functioning at their optimal level.
True.
And once your NAD plus or any other energy molecules are significantly being misused or underproduced, that's when the aging also catches up. I'm not saying it's the only reason. Right?
True.
There's several, but this is one of a significant reason on why people start to show signs of aging from when they're 30 plus onwards.
And most importantly, like aging in the sense or longevity in the sense, it's not like living longer. It's like living a better life.
Yes, absolutely.
And cellular energy, here it comes to not like a, looking from outside, aging, physical aging. It's like a biological aging or cellular aging is very important here. And that's where, natural supplements like NAD plus or apigenin and MetaBerine can play a huge role in cellular mechanisms because it works on the cellular level. And always, as we discussed throughout this podcast, like metabolic wellness, aging, longevity, all are, tightly connected.
Absolutely.
Very closely
It's all
related.
connected, right?
It's very closely related.
So one thing that MetaBerine, right? I'll start referring to berberine as MetaBerine because that's the product that we're primarily discussing is insulin sensitivity, right? So how does MetaBerine affect insulin sensitivity?
Yeah, so this works on, like insulin receptors. I would say that there is a product which is launched in the market, mainly focused on the PCOS category.
Correct.
So PCOS is often misinterpreted as a hormonal imbalance alone, but I would say PCOS is more related to the insulin receptor. The core issue of PCOS is around the insulin receptor. So normally metformin is being prescribed here, and one supplement company, they were very keen to launch MetaBerine combination in that particular category. Because this MetaBerine works around the insulin receptors, like helping in managing the glucose metabolism and, triggering the insulin receptors and, glucose uptake into cellular levels and other stuff. So insulin receptor and related mechanisms, of course, MetaBerine could be an ideal choice here.
And it's also recommended that even people who are fit, right, like fitness athletes and all, also start taking berberine. I was actually very surprised to hear that. How could it help individuals such as them?
That's where we come back to that energy level.
Okay.
Even the healthy, energetic subjects, sometimes fall short of the, like energy levels in a day-to-day life. So, and adding to that, even if you do daily exercise, workout and all, if you have chronic sleep deprivation, chronic stress levels, elevation in cortisols, can lead to glucose, imbalance. Glucose imbalance, energy connected, right? So these kind of products, these kind of natural supplements can help you, give you more body composure, energy balancing throughout your daily life, So that's where, some misinterpretations which we should clear, being from the industry, that this is not just only for diabetic health, it's for overall energy wellness and metabolic health.
I think we covered like a lot of that with it in what we've just discussed, right? Like it is not just for diabetics and not just for people who want to lose weight, but it can be used by
a
the wider
category, Metabolic health, as I mentioned, it's umbrella category, wherein multiple five core markers are falling into metabolic health. So one of that out of that optimal range, that it can indirectly impact your energy levels. Right?
That's true. So we discussed everybody who can take it, right?
True.
And MetaBerine is good for like people from all walks of life facing several issues to take it.
True.
But I'm sure there is a small group of people that they need to be a little more careful.
Absolutely.
Like, who should like be careful when they're taking MetaBerine?
See, the clinical studies and most of the data available in the public domain is done on the adults, healthy subjects. But we don't have data studies on pregnant women and kids and those group of people. We don't recommend MetaBerine as a supplement to them. So that's a sensitive group which we don't want to go into that. Or else in other group of people, 18 plus healthy subjects, anyone can supplement with MetaBerine.
Okay. And from our previous conversation, MetaBerine is making the waves all over the world, right? So can you name like a few countries where it's available right now?
Yeah, so product is already getting launched in North America, US market, then in South Korea, then Australia, then few European countries. So across the globe, you name it, we are going to be there or we are already there. And apart from the domestic market, there are multiple companies who already launched the product or it's under the evaluation phase, which will be coming soon to the market.
So we're super excited, Dr. Arun, for you coming here. And we're also super excited, like if you're taking berberine anywhere in the world or if you're taking berberine in India, MetaBerine is the one that you need to switch to for all the different reasons that Dr. Arun has covered. And it's much lower dosage. You don't have all the discomfort and all the negative effects that most people generally tend to feel with berberine. Right? So check out MetaBerine on our website at gattaca.in. And thank you, Dr. Arun, for coming and covering all the aspects about your product and about why we need to be taking MetaBerine.
Absolutely. It was a very great interaction and great perspective from both metabolic wellness as well as MetaBerine. I hope both these terminologies go synonym, go in tandem.
Great.
And look forward for the launch of MetaBerine from Gattaca as well.
Right.
Thank you, Aditya.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thanks.